2021, Hugo Ekitike arrived on loan at Vejle Boldklub from Stade de Reims. He was only 18 years old. His debut was just 10 quiet minutes against Aarhus. After the match, coach Konstantin Galka said, "He didn't play very well, but that is normal. You need a little time to adapt to the team." 1 week later he played on the left wing, and suddenly his qualities became visible. Galka described him as the perfect modern player with pace, skill, physicality and finishing. That was the first signal of what was to come. After a year in Denmark with Vejle, Hugo returned to Stade de Reims. He had scored 3 goals in 11 matches and it was never really considered as a successful stay. So how did a raw teenager in Denmark become one of Europe's most talked about strikers? At Reims in the 21-22 season, Ekitike scored 10 goals and added 3 assists in 26 Ligue 1 matches. He was Reims' top scorer and one of the best young forwards in France. His ability to drift wide, run at defenders and link play made him stand out, but he was still inconsistent and raw. And this was the moment when the biggest clubs in Europe began to recognize his potential. So it was no surprise that in 2022 PSG came knocking on the door to secure his talent. His chances were limited as he was surrounded by superstars. He played 26 Ligue 1 games but started only a handful, scoring 3 goals and assisting 4. He learned movement off the ball, pressing discipline and patience in a system dominated by others. It was a difficult stage, but a necessary one, as he got taught how to run, how to be a better version of himself, and how to link up with some of the absolute best players that were in Europe back then. However, PSG did not live up to the fans and the club's expectation back then. The real step forward came at Eintracht Frankfurt in season 24-25. This is where his game exploded. Ekitike's market value skyrocketed from almost being a free loan to becoming one of the Premier League's most valuable players in just 4 years. Sometimes you take your chances at where you're at and hope you get playtime. Other times you get promised into starting 11 and get the chance to prove yourself during a whole season, and that is exactly what he wanted to do. When Hugo Ekitike joined Eintracht Frankfurt, his role began to evolve. He was deployed mainly as a central striker, but not as a static number 9. He had freedom to drift wide, drop deep and attack in space behind defenders. This made him unpredictable and difficult to mark. One of his biggest strengths in Frankfurt was his movement off the ball. He often positioned himself on the blind side of defenders, timing his runs perfectly to appear in dangerous areas. These movements created chances that most strikers simply don't see. Despite Frankfurt not being known for high pressing, Ekitike stood out physically. He ranked in the top 7 across Bundesliga for pressures in the opponent's half and the final third. In fact, he led the team in high intensity pressures at 15.3 per 90 minutes, proving that he wasn't just about positioning and movement with the ball, he was also relentless without it. And that is one of the most difficult qualities to master as a striker, and something many scouts are seeking when they look for real talent. Now, if we look at finishing, Ekitike's shot conversion rate last season was around 13.9%. Not bad, not elite either, especially if you compare him with strikers like Harry Kane, who regularly converts over 20% of his chances. But here is where it gets interesting. In terms of carrying the ball forward and creating chances from his own run, Ekitike was right at the top together with Lamine Yamal and Mbappé, and that is not common for a 22-year-old. But you are probably thinking, creating shots are not worth anything unless you convert them into goals. And you're almost right about that. And to back this up, Ekitike appeared in 33 Bundesliga matches. He scored 15 goals and assisted 8, making him joint 6th top scorer in the league and among the leaders in total goal contributions. Across all competition, he delivered 22 goals and 12 assists in 48 matches. That is a goal involvement every 107 minutes. His expected goals per 90 minutes was 0.67 and expected assists per 90 minutes was 0.24, which means he generates nearly 1 goal every match, and only a small amount of players in Europe under the age of 23 matches that. Players like Dembélé, Mbappé and Yamal. If you don't think it sounds impressive, you've got to have in mind that these stats are without penalties, and that's why usually players land on a much higher expected goal when they are included. In top 5 clubs, he ended up being top 3 goal assist last season for players at the age of 23 or younger. Technically, he offered variety. He could dribble, link play and bring teammates into the attack. His size made him a real threat in the air. However, almost all his goals came from his feet, 6 of them with his weaker left, proving he isn't one-dimensional. When Omar Mamouche left in January, Ekitike proved that he could shine as a lone striker too, which tells us that he doesn't need superstars around him to shine. Finally, in July 2025, Liverpool saw the potential and paid up £79 million to secure the talent. They really needed a top striker since Isaac was more than difficult to get their hands on.
I'm just really proud and very happy for me to join this big institution. Now a big challenge for me, but I know I come in the right place at the right moment.
Last season he averaged 15.3 high intensity pressures in the final third per 90 minutes, showing a consistent work rate without the ball, which makes him perfect and dangerous in Liverpool's high energy system. With the ball, he ranks top among all forwards when it comes to successful dribbles, which means he does not only rely on services, he creates his own chances, beat the defenders one-on-one and generates shots by himself. That combination of pressing, dribble and finishing is rare, especially at his age, and that's why he's every defender's nightmare. Liverpool's squad has become incredibly flexible with their rivals of Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike, both capable of filling multiple roles in slot system. Liverpool's possible lineup and formation for the season would probably look something like this, where Arne Slot likes to run a 4-2-3-1 formation. Alisson Becker remains the clear number 1 in goal, protected by the back 4 of Kjærgaard, Van Dijk, Konaté and Frimpong. A blend of stability and attacking thrust in midfield. Gravenberch partners McAllister for power and control, with Szoboszlai ready to add creativity if needed. Up front, Gakpo, Wirtz and Salah, where Ekitike will be a full striker, where he's most comfortable and a real threat for any team. With this setup, Klopp has the ability to rotate, switch roles and adapt mid-game, making Liverpool far more unpredictable and versatile than before. We saw how Ekitike is an example of how to be dangerous without touching the ball. Another of Ekitike's strengths is the way he can turn with the ball with a quick twist or a sharp touch. He can spin past his marker and open up space instantly. Besides that, he has an insane understanding and vision for the game with little flicks, one-touch passes or even clever backheels to teammates, and you have a player who keeps defenders guessing. For Liverpool, this is huge. It means breakthrough, tight defensive lines, creating openings for Salah, Wirtz and Gakpo, and bringing a new level of unpredictability and creativity to the attack. Ekitike's heat map shows exactly why he's such a flexible forward. He's not just stuck in the penalty area. He drops deep to help the team, link play, drifts wide, especially on the left side, and still arrives in the right areas to finish his chances. For Liverpool, that means a forward who can press across the pitch, combine with creators like Wirtz and Salah, and still provide that presence inside the box when it matters. There has been a lot of speculations whether Isaac could join Liverpool. We already know Isaac is a proven monster in the Premier League. When we compare him to Ekitike, shown here with Isaac in yellow, Ekitike in blue, the numbers tells an interesting story. Ekitike matches Isaac across almost every category, dominating duels, ball regaining and one-on-one situations. The only gap is finishing, something we already highlighted earlier. If he can sharpen that part, you're looking at an absolute beast of a player. The scary part isn't what he is right now, but what he could become. The question is he an overhyped player, or are we yet to see another world class in the making for Liverpool? Can Liverpool regain the title this year? Feel free to leave your comment about that. If you like these kind of breakdowns where we talk football, give it a like and subscribe, and I will keep creating videos for you. Thank you guys for watching. Vi ses.